what are the other sources from which they can get some funding for their startup?
So, first of all, the funding source should be your own relatives or the friends. First, which we call as a seed investment or the seed stage or the pre-seed
Correct.
stage.
Yeah. Hi, Anil sir. How are you doing today?
Yeah. Hi, Mohit. Yeah. Good afternoon. All well.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay, so let me set the context of the session first. So today we'll be discussing about how to get investment for a startup. So basically, if you are a firm and probably you have started out recently and you want to get an investment, then how to go about that as a founder.
Mhm.
All right. So we have you who you are founder at Capsavvy Consultants,
Correct.
right? Basically. Correct. Great. So before we start the discussion, I personally am curious to know more about your journey. So if you can shed some light over there. So how did your firm start off, and from where did the idea come? So if you
Mhm.
can talk a bit about that.
Great. Thank you, Mohit, for arranging this interview. And I'm happy to understand that Startup Story has created a good platform for young entrepreneurs, which bringing them to limelight and also inspire the young population to pursue their entrepreneur journey. So it's a good platform. Congratulations for that.
Thanks.
And stories of the struggle and success can be a future benchmark for the new entrepreneurs, so that they can learn from those stories and create a more challenging, more successful business for them. So again, a good initiative by the entire team of Startup Story Media. Just a brief introduction about me. I'm a chartered accountant and a certified business strategist from IIM Bangalore, based in Mumbai. I have been a strategic business analyst and financial advisor for more than 25 years now. Associated as a director and CEO of Maxis Education, Merrill Life Science. I was working with IDBI, ILFS, ONGC subsidiary, SEZ, Mangalore SEZ, and the Steel Authority of India SEZ. So I have been advisor to many large corporates, small and medium enterprises, state government, central government, and I have been working on financing and implementation of greenfield and expansion projects, mainly for city development, joint venture projects, or the small scale industries also.
Correct.
So I have been an angel investor also, and currently heading my company as a Capsavvy consultant, as founder and MD. At Capsavvy, we provide handholding support to startups and growing SMEs who are aspiring to take next leap of growth and looking for right strategies and the financial support.
Correct.
In my last 25 years of journey as a corporate person, I have been part of fundraising for more than 13,000 odd crores from various banks and investors, debt or equity both together. And during this journey, I have interacted with many business owners, investors, business decision makers. And for last few years, I have been interacting with many startups for their go-to-market strategies and fundraising support. So I'll be delighted to share those few of the success stories or the few examples which I have interacted with the founders, so that they can get benefited in terms of creating more leadership at the founder level or the startup level.
Definitely. Quite a comprehensive profile you have right there, and a lot of credentials to your credit. So that's quite impressive personally for me. Right. So before moving to the next question, I would like to introduce to Loan in Touch, who is sponsor for this video. So basically, Loan in Touch acts as a bridge between customer and a lending bank. So they have made home loan processes very simple and fast, where you can get your loan disposed within 72 hours. And the best part is they do not charge anything from the consumer. So basically, they are bridging the gap between a home loan customer and the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they are currently operating in Pune, Aurangabad, and Nashik. So basically, if you are a person who is seeking a home loan, primarily in from these three cities, then you can also check their mobile application. They are present over there. So that's a bit about it. So yeah, quite impressive concept altogether.
No, it's a really good concept, and there is a need for today. In fact, fintech has been doing extremely good in Indian market, and we are the leaders in terms of creating fintech. So And definitely the idea which you have shared in terms of connecting the borrower with the investor for home loan and the personal loan requirement, there is a need for that, because generally banks are not very keen to entertain directly the end user, the customer, the low ticket size customers.
Correct.
Yeah, perfect.
Amazing. So before we delve deeper into the whole discussion, basically I would like to know a bit more about the industry. So first of all, when we talk about raising funding for a startup, so how does it work? What are the steps that are involved in this whole process? So I'm aware that there are types of funding: Series A, Series B, Angel, and things like that. But how does this process work in a nutshell? If you can explain that.
Sure. Mohit, actually, many people, they generally go for the steps in getting the funding. But according to me, before getting into the raising funds for the startup, we should first understand what are the steps involved in creating the startup as fundable organization. So that is
Correct.
more important. We should understand that. So once you are fundable or when investable, definitely you can go for funding options available. So before getting into the funding, I would discuss a few things which make a startup fundable. I have observed many founders or the startup, they immediately rush for funding just with an idea, and without even validating their idea, and with just a set of people, the small set of people also, they don't try to examine their idea.
Correct.
According to me, first of all, you should decide your main feature or the minimum viable product, and create a prototype. So once you are ready with your idea, you create a prototype. May not be a prototype in the sense that you invest heavy amount or you invest a technology and all. No, just your idea, that okay, whether this idea is workable or not. I'll share a few examples also.
Correct.
And test your idea with maybe 100 or 500 people or 50 people also within your close net, so that you know that my idea is workable and there are people, or there are the takers, or there are the customers available for that idea.
Correct.
And so once you have the feedback from your initial testing phase, then build a functional prototype. There you invest little bit of amount, again your own capital, because that time also it is either very difficult to get funding, or you have to do a good amount of dilution. Then only you can get funding. So my suggestion would be that you work on your startup first, and then create a traction from the people. So initially the testing phase, you have interacted with maybe 100. Now try for getting up to 10,000 people and creating a traction that, okay, people are coming repeat time and all. And then try for monetization, because so far testing phase you have done just free of cost. Now monetize that. So whether your idea is there, people are ready to pay for it. And then if you start getting monetary benefits, then you develop it further, and that is the right time to go for investment, because now you have proven your idea, the proof of concept is ready, and the people are there who are coming as a repeat customers, or they have shown interest in your product. And then you prepare your pitch deck, and simultaneously you start working on your improvement also, the product improvement also. Product, when I say product can be the actual product or the services, whatever model that you are working on, but simultaneously you can start improving upon it. And that is the chance, that is the time where you get maximum value also, good value also, and the interest also from the investor.
Correct. So basically it's all about creating a MVP, minimum viable product. And so if you can give me an overview, so if I am a person who is looking to start or a firm, right? So what is the kind of money that I should have? Is there any financial average amount that I should have or I would require in order to reach to the stage where I can generate some income and then think about the funding?
Mohit, it all depends on the idea which you are working on. So I should not be sharing the concept which currently I'm working on one client of mine, but there are few ideas where huge amount is required for creating the prototype. If they are working on, let us say, the new technology or the new innovation that is happening across the globe, crores of rupees, maybe 5 crore, 10 crore or 20 crore also. But there are few ideas where you don't need any capital. You just need 50,000, 1 lakh rupee. Then also you can start executing your idea into testing phase, and then go to the traction stage where you are interacting with a large amount of people, even without any funding required. And that initial funding, either you should have your own capital, or you can have funding from your relatives and all. So those are not considered as an investor, but they are the initial supporters for you. so that the next round of investor, whoever is coming in, they will have a clear trust that okay, people have believe in your idea, apart from your own idea, but there are people who are supporting you, either your own family or your friends, and then you are ready for the next round of investment from the third party investor or the seed capital or the angel funding. So when you ask how much is the amount that we should be looking at the investment from our side, it can vary from 1 lakh rupee to 5 crore also. It all depends on your idea, your product, and the problem that you are solving.
Got it. Dynamics of current startup environment in India, basically. Just an overview.
Yeah, just to give few numbers. Of course, you must have gone through the recent economic survey, which talked about a lot of startups ecosystem, what is happening, and it's a good progress for Indian per se. India is now third largest ecosystem for startups, with the 60,000 plus startups registered in India.
Correct.
And out of that, 90 plus unicorns have been created so far in India, and the valuation is going up to some $300 billion. So it's a good progress in terms of a startup ecosystem for India. And in last year itself, the 2021 itself, there were about 14,000 startups who got registered, against just 700 in 2016-17. So the amount of interest that the new generation entrepreneurs are getting into the creating your own startup, it has a huge impact on Indian economy. First of all, the valuation story. So again, there is a direct economic impact, and most important, the jobs are being created because of the startups. And government is also supporting the startup ecosystem with a lot of new schemes they are introducing. A lot of tax benefits are being passed. Funding support is available. The banking channel, they are providing a low cost interest rate also for the startups. So a lot of benefits are there, and maybe that is the reason. And now most important, the way unicorns are becoming. Last year itself, there were about 44 unicorn, 44 startups became unicorn in just 1 year.
Correct.
So I would say there is a healthy trend in startup ecosystem in Indian market, and I would encourage all the new generation who are recently passing out from the college environment and planning to go for job. They should look at the other opportunities also, which they can create a job provider, not just a job seeker.
Correct. True enough. So basically, the whole scenario is changing rapidly, and all these startups are also increasingly the revenues and the customer base altogether month on month very, very exponentially in the past couple of months itself. So yeah, that is there. So now basically, I wonder, is there any checklist or a to-do list for a founder before seeking funding, or when he or she goes to pitch the idea to the VC? Right, before seeking the funding, are there any steps that are involved in this process? Obviously, is there any checklist that he or she should keep in mind?
See, when we talk about funding, I would say what generally the investor would look at. The investor could be the seed capital or the venture capital or the pre-seed funding also, and the so-called P with Series A, Series B, Series C, on all those things. Generally, what they look for, and that becomes our checklist also. So when any startup is going for the investment, they should give answers to themselves. So I'll just share my views on or outcome of my discussion with those kind of those kind of founders who went to the investor and they couldn't do well because they were not ready in terms of their checklist. So first and foremost is the investor, the founder, before they go to the investor, they should find a reason why they are in existence, the mission or the problem that they are solving. So this is a checklist. So first checklist is they should be able to identify clearly what is the problem that we are solving. So they should do the brainstorming with the potential people, potential customers, or the merchant whom they are going to discuss, pain areas that they are solving. That idea should act as a painkiller, like a Seridon, that okay, by taking my product, they are going to solve my headache problem. So that should be the idea. The problem is important. Now what is happening? People are thinking about their valuation. People are thinking about the money they can raise. the investment they need to do in terms of marketing and all, but that is not important. The important is the problem definition should be there with them, and the value proposition they are providing. And the second checklist should be, you should be able to define yourself or imagine yourself where you would be after 10 years. So suppose you are working on any idea, that idea, where it will lead them after 10 years. So that means defining your market size, who is the market, what is the total market size available, what kind of addressable market that they will be catering to, is it the niche market or is it the mass market that they will be talking to. And
Correct.
accordingly, you position yourself the segmentation wise, that whether you are catering to only a certain class of people, maybe middle class or the below middle class or the high net worth individual, and accordingly you position your product. And the third could be, why do people want this product more than any other product available in the market? So if you are working on your product or the services or the idea which you are currently working on, think or compare yourself, what is the current offering available in the market and how you are different, why people will buy your product or the services in compared to the existing options available. So we need to create a product which can fill the vacuum which is available in the market, and now you are creating that vacuum. I'll just share one example. Dr. Shetty, when he created the model of low cost stent hospital, the heart hospital in Bangalore. So huge gap in terms of catering to the low profile people. They were not able to afford 1 lakh rupee towards the stent, and that is how the idea came into mind, that so much of population available to fill the gap, to fill the vacuum, and that is how the idea came into play. And he created the complete hospital dedicated only for the low profile people. So your idea then, in that case, your idea should be, because you are filling the gap, it will create more impact. Chances are there where it will create replication effect, and it will grow more. Then the next will be, why is this the right time to build the startup? So what is that I am going to make economic impact, or the technology which is available, the new technology available, and that is how this is the right time to go for market. Or is there any acceptance in the market in terms of culture of the people or the product which you have created? Like I would say, currently, you must have also observed, a lot of focus is now on health side. Earlier, which was not there. 4 years, 5 years back, it was not there. And especially after COVID, a lot of focus on health in terms of eating habits, in terms of maintaining their own health. So if you are working on similar idea where you are catering to the that kind of segment, then probably this is the right time to build a startup, because there is a need, there is the perception of the people to go for such kind of environment, such kind of product line. So we should look at the right timing of the startup, and then we should understand where are we now. So in terms of the traction, in terms of the order size, in terms of finding the scalability of our product. So where are we now before we go to the investor? So we should understand, are we capable now to speak about our product, about our startup, and then raise funding, or no? In the sense, we should talk with our friends or the relatives that, okay, I need 1 crore rupees, 2 crore rupees, and this is my product, this is my startup. Whether they are ready to fund your product because they know you very well. And if there is not much of interest by them, that means you will not be able to pitch to the actual investor also.
Correct.
So you should understand your the current situation, where are we now? And then is, why are other people are not working on my idea? So if you have created a startup and you go to the investor first will think, why he has come to me if it's a unique idea. Because now everyone is thinking about the creating own startup. So why people have not gone into it? That means somewhere our study is not proper, and that is how we are not able to convince to the investor also.
Correct.
So we should compare ourselves in terms of where are we now, and why will be doing better than other people in the market. So our idea should be unique, or something more than what is being available in the market. Or the other could be that, okay, market is available, but there is a room for multiplayers. So if already Amazon is available, Flipkart is available, but still you have reached only 5% in terms of digital segment for e-commerce, then there is a room available for the growth.
Correct.
So accordingly, you can define yourself.
Right. So basically, from what I understand, is it all boils down to if you have a proper mission and vision for your company, right? And the market dynamics that you are playing in, right? So that percentage of market share that you have, and the percentage of penetration that has been there in the market,
Correct.
and all those aspects come into the play. So I believe these are the all key pointers that you also might be looking when before investing in any firm, right?
Absolutely.
So
Generally, I would say, generally what we hear, the founders will talk unmet demand, market size, solution I am providing. But what we, when as an investor or the funds, what they listen or what they think, what is there for me to make money. So if you are talking about your market size or unmet demand, I will be thinking that what is there for me.
correct.
Am I able to make money out of this? You will talk about the founders will talk about team execution capability, the financial projections, so much of market available. Again, I'll be thinking, are the people going to pay money to me? Because I am investing, so I am looking at pure commercial angle. If I am
Correct.
investing 100 rupees, am I able to make 10x or 20x money out of it?
Correct.
So so these are the things generally the investor will look at. So they will look at the profitability, the progress, the sales revenue, customer. These are all normal things. But beyond that is the how they are going to make money out of it.
Correct. Correct. Understood. So I believe there might be multiple avenues from where a startup founder can get funding, right? So what are the key avenues at which a person can look at if he or she is seeking funding for their startup?
Sorry, come again.
So what are the key avenues from which the person can get funding for his or her startup? So one is they might reach out to some VCs, and what are the other sources from which they can get some funding for their startup?
So, first of all, the funding source should be your own relatives or the friends. First, which we call as a seed investment or the seed stage or the pre-seed
Correct.
stage.
Correct.
So these are the people who will support you because they knew very well, they know very well, and so they believe that okay, XYZ person, XYZ founder has the capacity. He has demonstrated either in the college life or in the existing business past entrepreneurship. So they are the first people who should be approached when you are the seed stage. And the second stage should be that okay, if you should have a mentor. So he should be the mentor will be guiding them in terms of reaching out to high net worth individual HNIs or small PE fund or the fund aggregators. Now a lot of fund aggregators are also available, so that they will arrange funding from the small players. So there are small players who are ready to invest 3 lakhs rupees, 5 lakhs rupees, 10 lakhs rupees, but that capital you cannot reach out to them. So now there are fund aggregators who will aggregate those money and create a fund for you, maybe 2 crore rupees, 3 crore rupees, 5 crore rupees. So you should be having one mentor and then go for your requirement. Suppose you have requirement of 2 crore rupees, 3 crore rupees, you go to those fund aggregators. And if you have a requirement of 10 crore, 20 crore, 30 crore rupees, then you can directly go for venture capital or the PE funds, so that those kind of funding are available.
Correct.
And of course, the most important part is you should be ready with your product, ready with your pitch deck, create a lot of efforts into it, do more practice, then only you will be able to sell your idea to the investors.
Correct. That's very true enough. So basically, recently we also saw the budget, right? So what do you think will be the impact of this year's budget on the startup ecosystem and fintech or this financial VC ecosystem that we have in India?
Yeah, so as I have seen last 3-4 years, government has been supporting a lot to the startups. A lot of systems have been eased out. The labor laws are not applicable to the startups. And this budget also, though there are not direct benefits available, but indirect benefits available in terms of enhancing the date for 1 year, one more year because of the COVID and all. So as we see, 14,000 startups came in the last year during COVID period itself. So this year it is going to make more progress. Maybe it will cross 25,000 itself this financial year. So impact is going to be positive, and because of the tax benefits, because of ease of doing business, and the funding support available, the seed capital funding available from Government of India itself. So those kind of initiatives will definitely create more opportunities for the young entrepreneurs and the startup to create value for themselves and for the country.
Correct. True enough. That itself is a very positive step from the Government of India in order to
Absolutely.
take it further. Right. So you have a lot of experience over the past couple of years, right, in this industry. So what is one piece of advice that you would like to give to students of or the entrepreneurs of tomorrow, basically, who are willing to start or who are thinking to start their own journey? So what is one piece of advice that you would like to impart to them?
See, Mohit, the entrepreneurship journey is tough. Generally, most of the people which I see, they start with the passion, but slowly after 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, they reduce their energy, and they finally go for the job. So when you have decided that yes, I'm going to create an impact on the society, you are creating the product for the requirement where there is a vacuum available. So you should be capable enough to continue with your passion, have perseverance, patience, and the capital required. So you should have the entire the working of the capital requirement for next 6 months, 1 year, and most important, the product which you are catering to. You should be doing a lot of more research on the product or the idea that you are working on, whether this product is really useful, instead of just with your own thinking, okay, this will work. Because either there may be more players already available in the segment, or the product may not be workable proposition because there is not much of demand from the users. So you should clearly work out the requirement, capital requirement, and the resources requirement before you get into the idea. And once you get into the idea, then remain focused and continue with your 100% efforts on the creating the product. You will have sleepless nights, so be ready for that.
Correct. So I'm sure a lot of people will find it useful. So it was an amazing discussion that we had today with you, with your experience and the imparting or the key things that you talked about in the discussion today. So basically, it was nice interacting with you, and I would like to thank you and Lone in Touch for sponsoring this video, and you obviously for taking out some time to discuss on this key topic. And I'm sure a lot of people will benefit from this discussion.
Sure. Thank you, Mohit. It was pleasant interacting with you, and my best wishes to the sponsors for their success.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mohit. Thank you.